Welcome to Suntrust Academy. Today we'll be considering the important topic, indices. We'll talk about indices. First of all, we'll start with index. Index is the expression of a number that has power. If I write a raised to the power of x, this is index. The index of this number is x. That's the power of this number, a. And a is called the base. Now when we talk about indices, we talk about numbers that has power. And for you to be able to solve a question on indices, we must understand the law that governs indices. Just like any other thing that you are doing that has laws, so you must go by the law. So we are going to look at the laws of indices that will help us to be able to solve questions on indices effectively. Now we'll start with the first one, the first law of indices. The first law of indices is multiplication law. Multiplication or addition law. Some people call it addition law. Why some people call it multiplication law? I will show you the reason why it is called multiplication. I will show also the reason why it is called addition law. Now I have a raised to the power of m multiplied by a raised to the power of n. Now you are multiplying the two, you are multiplying the base. I'm multiplying the base. Since I'm multiplying the base, it is called multiplication law. But since I'm multiplying it, you are going to add the power. So I'm going to add it, which is m plus n. That is the addition. Here you are multiplying the base and you are adding the power. That's why it is called multiplication law or addition law. Let's see example. Here, if I have a raised to the power of 2 times a raised to the power of 3. I can write it as what? A raised to the power of 2 plus 3 equal to a raised to the power of 5. That's what we have. Now, I'm able to, why it is possible for me to be able to add the power, because the bases are equal. I cannot, if the bases are not equal, I cannot add their power. But since the base is a, I'm able to add it. I can be able to add the power. Now we'll go to the next law, which is division law, or we call it subtraction law. Division or subtraction law. I will show you the reason why it is called division or subtraction law. I have a raised to the power of m, all divided by a raised to the power of n. Now they are divided. Whenever you see a number on the numerator and a number on the denominator, and they are being divided, what are you going to do? Since they are of the same base, you are going to add, you are going to subtract their power. So now here I have a raised to the power of m minus n. A raised to the power of m minus n. M is at the denominator, so it will now be what? A raised to the power of m minus n. It is called subtraction because you are going to subtract their power. It is called division because you are dividing the two numbers. So that is why it is called division law or subtraction law. Now let's look at simple example. Here I have a raised to the power of 5 and a raised to the power of 3. It can be written as a raised to the power of 5 minus 3, which is equal to a raised to the power of 2. That is our answer. Now we look at the third law. So we talk about 0, number 3, zero law. Zero law. Now talk about zero law. In indices, we say that any number raised to the power of 0 is 1. But to some extent it is true. On some condition it may not be exactly 1, but it will be either negative 1. Here, if I have a raised to the power of 0, it is equal to 1. If I have any number 1000 raised to the power of 0, it is 1. If I have 2000 raised to the power of 0, it is equal to 1. Now, but where it changes is when you have a number, let's assume we have minus 5 raised to the power of 0. If this 0 does not cover the sign, does not affect the sign, it will give us minus 1. But for this to give us exactly 1, here must be what? Here must be a minus 5 all raised to the power of 0, which will give us exactly 1. Now, don't misuse these two. Here, the 0 is not affecting the minus, it's only affecting the number. It's not affecting the, here, 0 is not affecting the sign, it's only affecting the number. But here, the 0 is affecting the sign, also affecting the number at the same time. That's why we're able to have 1. And the next in our list, we have the number 4 law, which is a negative index law. Negative index law. In indices, we say that if we have a raised to the power of minus n, remember, negative, what's this? Okay, so when we talk about the negative index law, here it said that negative index, we can write it as 1 all raised to the power, all divided by a raised to the power of what? Of n. So, if I have a raised to the power of minus 2n, it can also be written as what? 1 all over a raised to the power of 2n. So, now let's look at example. Here we have a raised to the power of minus 2. I can write it as 1 all over a raised to the power of 2. That is what we have. So we said negative index law. So we continue with the next law. Continue with the next, the number 5. Number 5, we now talk about the root power law. Root power law. Root power law said that if I have a raised to the power of 1 all over n, I should be able to write it as n root a. N root a. For example, if I have a raised to the power of 1 over 2, I will write it as the square root of a. Once the denominator here is 2, I don't need to write, because here this is already square root, so I don't need to put the 2 here. But if I have a raised to the power of 1 over 3, I will write it as 3 root a. If I have a raised to the power of 1 over 4, I will write it as the what? The 4th root of a. Now, for example, if I have 16 raised to the power of 1 over 2, I can write it as the square root of 16, which will give us 4. If I have 27 raised to the power 1 over 3. I can write it as all raised to 27. This 27, what number can we multiply 3 times to give us 27 is 3. So the cube root of 27 is equal to 3. Now if I have the next one, which is 64 raised to the power of 1 over 4. What number can we multiply 4 times to give us? So if we have this will be 64, the fourth root of 64. So if we multiply 4, how many times can we multiply 4 to give us, what can we multiply, how many times can we multiply 4 to give us 64? That's 3 times. Multiply 4 into 3 places to give us 64. That is where we can stop. We continue with the next law, which is the law number 6. So we look at the law number 6. The law number 6, we talk about the power law. The power law says that if I have all raised to the power of x, I can write it as what? A raised to the power of x. Okay? Now, or if I have a raised to the power of y, or raised to the power of x, I can also write it as e raised to the power of y times x, which will give us e raised to the power of x, y. Now, for example, we have e raised to the power of 2 or raised to the power of 3. I can write it as e raised to the power of 2 times 3. That will give us e raised to the power of 6. Now, we go to the next law, number 7 law. The number 7 law says the product power law. Product means what? Multiplication. Product power law. So here I have A, B. Here is X and here is Y. And the power is Z. So it says that this power here will affect A, it also affect B. So it will now be what? A raised to the power of X times Z, B, Y times Z, which will be what? A, X, Z, B, Y, Z. For example, if we have A raised to the power of 3, B raised to the power of 2, or raised to the power of 5. This will give us A raised to the power of 3 times 5, B raised to the power of 2 times 5, and that will give us A raised to the power of 15, B raised to the power of 10. That is our answer. Now we continue with the number 8 law. The number 8 law says fractional power law. Here I say that if I have A raised to the power of M divided by N, I should write it as N root A all raised to the power of m. For example, if I have 8 or 16 raised to the power of 3 over 2, I can write it as the square root of 16 all raised to the power of 3. Now, the square root of 3 will give us square root of 3, that will give us 4 all raised to the power of 3. The square root of 16 will give us 4 all raised to the power of 3. So, and this is the same thing as 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 will give us 16. 16 times 4 will give us 64.